Alright, everybody. Sai and Leo have just been revealed as the next Bounty Fest, and as I thought, they are the Reverie versions of them, not the Dressrosa versions, which makes more sense. So normally they Bounty Fest right before the Surprise EX, I think people call it. They usually have some relationship with the next EX. That's not always the case, but normally they have some relationship. So, for example, S Snake came out, and then we got Sentomaru and Kuma right before S Snake. Of course, it was the Saba Odi versions, but Sentomaru does have relationships with the Seraphim. I don't know why they didn't just make it the Egghead Kuma and Egghead Sentomaru. It doesn't make sense to me because they were animated already. But I'd say they are related. Of course, Kuma basically being the first Seraphim and Sentomaru commanding them slash helping build them, whatever he did, protecting Vegapunk. I guess he didn't help build them, but another example is Garp when he came out. Right before him was S Shark and the Sanji. What you might think, what relationship does that have to Garp? But Egghead relationship. That's what it was. Egghead arc themed. Yamato and Ace, same thing. Green Bull and Momonosuke, of course. Yamato fought Green Bull alongside Momonosuke. Of course, Ace was in the Yamato card, but it was based off Yamato. So most likely, not 100%, the next character might be Reverie themed. So I have three characters here that could possibly be. We'll start with Green Bull and Fujitoa. So, of course, Green Bull and Fujitoa fought the Revolutionary Army during the Reverie arc. They fought Sabo and Karasu, Morley, and Lindbergh, those revolutionaries, for a few minutes. We didn't see too much of the fight. We know they fought, though. And, that's when Green Bull summoned the giant meteor trying to help free the slaves, kinda. And then Green Bull, getting yelled at by the celestial dragons not to hurt them. So I think they would be a perfect surprise EX duo. I mean, another Admiral. We definitely need more Admirals EXs. I mean, we only have a Kainu technically. I mean, he's not even an Admiral, he's a Fleet Admiral, but same thing. And then Garp, technically Admiral level, but he is not, he's just a Vice Admiral. But literally him, Akainu, and Z, I guess you can count, even though he's non-canon. Those are the only characters you can count. Of course, we probably will get Kizu. I think Kizu might be the second EX. Uh, and then, perfect Green Bull and Fujito. I don't think they're going to get an EX alone, standalone EX, Fujito and Green Bull separately, which kind of sucks. I would love it, but I don't think they would. But, you know, technically they didn't really fight together. They kind of fought semi side by side. They weren't doing, like, no combo or anything. But also, I mean, Yamato and Ace fought each other, and they still got an EX, so it's very possible, 100%. And if we look at all the EXs, so let's pull up this chart. So we have, we'll mostly look at like third anniversary and up, I guess. Yamato, Z, Big Mom, Hybrid Yamato, Yamato and Ace, Snake, and Garp. Most of those characters are, like, that's why they call it Surprise EX. They are characters you probably wouldn't have guessed were coming. Like, who would have guessed S-Snake would have gotten an EX? Who would have guessed Yamato and Ace Dual Unit would got an EX? Hybrid Yamato semi makes sense since Space Yamato got an EX, so, I mean, that wasn't too shocking. Big Mom, of course, isn't shocking either, but, you know, Z was kind of shocking. I really thought Shiki would have been the EX, not Z, or at least make a brand new Tessero, or Tessero EX or Bullet would have been nice, a Bullet V2 EX. But they decided to give the EX to Z, which I'm fine with. Z is my favorite EX of all time, but kind of surprising of the other options. You have a rival to Rogers, Shiki, and then you have Tessero, another person on Rogers' crew that rivaled Rayleigh, I think it was, right? He fought Roger multiple times, and I think they said his power rivals Rayleigh. And of course, he probably got stronger since he rivaled Rayleigh, and he was younger, so Rayleigh's old now. He's probably around his prime. So, they could have added something there. But, you know, surprise EX, like I said, someone you probably wouldn't expect to be coming. Like, kind of shocking, you know. Like I said, S-Snake. Who would have thought? Like, we were all watching the trailer, and then we see S-Snake pop up. No one could believe it. Yamato and Ace, I mean, it's not that, you know, they kind of got a EX. It's just no one would have thought just them fighting for an episode would have gotten them an EX, you know. So I think Green Bull and Fujito would be perfect to put there. They would be very nice. Of course, I really want them. Do I think they're actually probably going to come? I think it's definitely a possibility, but not a high possibility, unfortunately. But, you know, they would be... So we already have double runner and double attacker being Law Kid, and then Yamato and Ace. Now we kind of need a double defender, and I think these two would be perfect for a double defender. Green Bull in his giant tree form would be perfect ability for defender. And then of course Fujitoa, his gravity, another perfect ability for a defender. He does have a defender already, of course, but, you know, it's not... It's happened before where the V2 and V1 are the same typing. But yeah, so Green Bull and Fujitoa would be very cool. So next character we have, you know, one of my favorite characters, Imu. Now, I really think Imu can get an EX. I think he's shown enough where he can. You know, I don't think he needs no face reveal or anything, you know, full face reveal just to get an EX. How he is now, he could easily get an EX, 100%. We know enough about him, or I mean, semi-enough. I mean, there's a lot we don't know about him, but he's done enough moves where they could give him skills. Skill 1 or 2, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Arrows come out of the ground, maybe. They can target enemies, whatever. Follow them like heat-seeking missiles or something like that. Skill 2, he could do another arrow-type attack, something like that, whatever. And then maybe he has a hold skill, I would think. And it's like a counter where he goes into his giant Zoan form, whatever he is. We actually don't know what he is. Yeah, and he, like, can eat the attack. Say, like, Shanks throws a Kumsari, he can eat that Kumsari, whatever, and just nullify the damage. Nothing happened. Just like Gear 5 Luffy's counter, basically. But, you know, he eats it just like he ate Sabo's flame. Would be very cool. Also, would make sense. I mean, Sabo, he doesn't really need a counter. Kuzan semi-counters him, whatever. He's not so broken. He needs 20,000 counters. He already has counters that are in the game. But, you know, perfectly, if they wanted to make another Sabo counter, what better character to do than Imu himself? You know, that would be very cool. Of course, like I said, I am a big fan of Imu, one of my favorite characters, my third favorite character in the show. And, yeah, would be amazing. But the thing is, though, do I really think Imu will be a surprise EX? I mean, if we look at the other surprised EXs again, let's just be honest, none of them are really hype, you know. Big Mom, she was OP, not hype though. Z, he was OP, not really hype though. Yamato's Yamato again and Yamato again. 3 Yamatos, it's the first EX. Not really hype. S-Snake, of course, not really hype. Very OP. Garp was pretty much the only hyped first EX in the, like, later anniversaries. I don't really count the first, like, up to 2.5, because, you know, it's just 1 or 2 EXs. But, yeah. Garp was the first really hyped character. And honestly, in my opinion, Garp was probably the most hyped character in the 6th anniversary. Of course, arguably, it matters who you care about most. Not saying he was the most OP, but he was definitely the most anticipated EX people thought was going to come. I mean, I never thought Sabo would have gotten an EX yet. Of course, I think Sabo deserved an EX. I just thought they would have waited a little bit. But yeah, I mean, maybe they're going to change it up, and it doesn't really matter who comes in what slot, but yeah, I don't know. Imu would be a perfect, like, main anniversary EX, 100%. But maybe not so much, you know, first EX, but I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter at the end of the day as long as they're good, right? And then final EX, minor spoilers if you want to click off. this guy will come in 2 episodes in the anime. He'll be shown, so, you know, not crazy, but of course, the next character I have here, and the final character that it could be, is Saturn. You know, of course, Saturn was there when Sabo attacked. He was in the Reverie. Of course, he is on Egghead now. Saturn would be a good option. Of course, Saturn 100% is getting an EX, right? I mean, some people say the Elders don't deserve EX, but I think they do. Every single one of them. So, Saturn getting an EX wouldn't make sense. It might be a little disappointing. I hope they make him good if he's the first EX. Really OP, because normally after the first EX, they make the other 2 EXs counter him, kind of like Garp. You know, Kuzan countered Garp, so did Sabo. Of course, that doesn't mean Garp can't absolutely destroy them. It just, you know, a little harder. But yeah, Saturn will appear in 2 episodes in the anime, right after the next episode, which is Gear 5 versus Kizu. And he'll just appear for a second, though. Like, he's gonna appear, Kuma's gonna punch him, and then I'm pretty sure it just goes straight into Kuma's backstory. So, I don't know. Like, I think he is possible, but at the same time, he's not gonna do anything. I don't think he does any attacks until after Kuma's backstory, which will take a few months at least. So, will he be EX this anniversary? Probably not. I think the other 2 are more likely than him coming right now. Because, yeah, like, literally, Saturn gets summoned, whatever the summoning circle appears, he appears in his full beast form. Kuma, he tries to attack Bonnie or something. I mean, I guess he does attack a little bit. Attacks Bonnie, Kuma appears, punches him, and then boom, Kuma's backstory, pretty much. I'm not sure if does he use his ability to blow the Marine's head off? I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure if he does that before or after Kuma's backstory, but, you know, he doesn't really do much. He might do one, like, little jab attack with his spider leg. I think that's about it. So, not sure if they would make him an EX yet. Of course he will get an EX, I think. But will they make him an EX yet? I don't think so. I think, like I said, Imu and Fuchito and Green Bull are more likely. And then, just thinking about it, other people from the Reverie, I mean, I can't really think of anyone else who deserves EX. Of course, the other Elders do, but, you know, they won't, you know, appear until a while, so they haven't shown enough, unlike Saturn, who's about to show something. But yeah, Imu, the Elders, Sabo, Green Bull, and Fujitoa. I mean, Akainu, I mean, are they gonna do V2 Akainu, Fleet Admiral Akainu? Maybe? I don't think it would make much sense saying they just buffed normal Akainu. But I guess it's possible. It's definitely possible. But yeah, I don't think it's happening. Like, very, very, very small chance. I mean, what did Akainu do? 1 attack on Kuma or something, and then boom, it ended. But yeah, not sure who's coming. Like I said, just because Leo and whatever are Reverie based, that doesn't 100% confirm the next EX will be a Reverie character. Definitely not. It's likely, but not, you know, 100%, like I said. But yeah, the next EX, the next Bounty Fest, I mean, I guess, come out in less than 24 hours, and then the next EX will come out around May 20th. So whenever the Bounty Fest banner leaves, that's when the EX will drop. So I guess usually it says like 28 days, 20 whatever days. So we might get the EX mid-May, mid-May/end of May. I mean, not like end of May, but, you know, around the 20th. From maybe the 12th to the 20th, I assume the EX will be revealed in May.